So I drew the straw for the Playful Heart. And after playing that, it's like, oh, how do I want to speak about the Playful Heart? I have a whole bunch of things here that I had taken where I have Charles Fillmore and I have Stoicism and all these ideas, and I'm just not going to go there. But if anybody wants it, we can share it later, because there's actually like 5 principles and steps that you could use for a playful heart. And I'm willing to share that, but I don't know that we need to go there today. We're going to just be related to each other, if that's okay with all of you and everybody that's joining us on the internet across Canada, here in Vancouver, back home on Vancouver Island. Yeah, this is a great opportunity to share the unity message. And I was thinking about a playful heart and thinking, oh, you know, we could look at it like it's a playful heart, or at the heart of who I am I playful? Because that to me is a little bit different. That says to me, where am I coming from? Am I coming from a place of playfulness or some other thing? Not that there's anything wrong with where else you might be coming from, but I was listening to Thich Nhat Hanh this morning, and most of what he said sounded to me like a playful heart is a real place to find heaven right here on earth. I'll share a quote with you from André Gide, a French author, who said, "God is happiness. God is happiness." That sounds like a playful heart to me. He also said, and I love this, "Everything's already been said, but since nobody was listening, we have to start again." Right? Yeah, I can take that home for myself. That's like, yeah, I left here yesterday. So for those that don't know, there's the Unity Canada Conference, and we are presenting it live here from Unity Vancouver. So first of all, thank you for all of you sharing your space with all of us across Canada, because this is your sacred home, and you have allowed us in so that we can bring a Unity conference to everybody. So thank you. You can give yourself a nice warm round of applause. Yes, love yourself, all of that wonderfulness, indeed. And so as I was contemplating this playful heart, a couple of things have happened. So one was yesterday, for those of you that don't know me, I ride a motorcycle, and I was well aware of the tribal rainstorms that were coming as I came over from Vancouver Island on Friday, and thought, you know what, I'm just going to ride. Yeah, because that's what I would do if I don't live in fear. I would just get on my motorcycle and ride. Yesterday, however, as I was riding here, I was staying in Richmond, and I had to cross the number 2 road bridge by the airport, and then the Arthur Lang Bridge, and the wind coming up the river. And I have a big motorcycle. I have a 1200. It's pretty heavy, and I was fighting the wind in traffic with slippery roads in pouring rain where I couldn't really see that well. And I was thinking about this idea of a playful heart. Well, what would I do if I had a playful heart right now? Would I be in fear of what could happen? Or would I just open up my mask a little bit, let a little bit of the rain in on my face and scream, "Yeah, here we go"? So that's what I did. I thought, if I'm going to go down, I might as well go down smiling. But that's the choice we get to make in life, isn't it? At any given time, don't we have the choice to choose the experience that we want to have in any given moment, regardless of what was going on? And yet yesterday, as I left this place, having had great workshops about playfulness and heartfulness and prayerfulness, I got into a conversation with one of my loved ones in my household last night, and immediately what I wanted to do was fix instead of listen, instead of support. And I think it was in the Matrei workshop yesterday where she shared, we can reparent ourselves into safety and then into play. Through listening to our pain, we can course correct into well-being. I sort of took that, well, I could do that in the presence of somebody else too. And then this was the real kicker, was from pain to safety to play. You can't just go from pain to play. Do you understand that? So when we expect somebody else who's experiencing a moment or suffering or in pain or having an upset, we expect them to immediately drop it, let it go, and move on to happiness and joy. And you also see this in the world of grief when somebody has a loss. We think we're helping by saying, oh, it's going to be okay, don't worry about it, just get over it, it's all fine, we love you, all of those nice things, yet we don't understand that maybe they need to feel safe first. Maybe they need a pause, some safety, and then they can move to play. And so as we had dinner last night, this conversation was rich at our table, so thank you, Brian and Janet and Vicky, for a 2.5 hour dinner or something, however long we were there. And we were talking about this, and we ended up talking about falling off a bicycle. And then this morning, I had this memory that, I moved here to the West Coast when I was 7-ish, and I have a memory of, in Winnipeg, where I was born, of riding a bike down a back lane and falling off of it. So I was probably 5 or 6. So here's what happened. I'm riding this bike. I think I'm pretty cool. Often in my life, I have thought I was pretty cool. Usually, it leads to a bit of a problem. Those moments when you're like, I'm so cool right now, and then you trip over the stair or something. So I took my hands off the handlebars of the bike in a back lane on rocks. Like, obviously I hadn't learned anything yet. And I fell off, I banged my head on a cylinder block, and you know how heads bleed. So I just had blood gushing down my face. But still, in my coolness, I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm just gonna walk the bike home. But I was rattled. And when I got home, of course, my mom sees me, and she's concerned. So what does mom do? First, she soothes me. She wipes my face. She hugs me. She gives me this moment to feel safe again, to feel like everything's okay. And did I get back on a bike again? Yeah, you bet I did. But I had that moment, and I really felt that this morning as I was thinking about that. I felt, wow, I get to have this moment. And so where can we offer that for ourselves? Where are we going to take that moment for ourselves so that we can have that little respite where we can bring ourselves down, recalibrate? You know, we can do it with a breath, right? Just try that now. Just try a nice deep breath in. Something as simple as that can be a moment. We can do that when we're having a conversation with somebody and we're feeling like, ooh, they're treading on me a little, they're bringing me into some elevated state. We can bring ourselves back. The key is, of course, we have to notice, right? We actually have to notice and be aware of ourselves. And that's where, again, listening to Thich Nhat Hanh this morning was so helpful, because everything he's about is presence. presencing ourselves, being present in the moment, understanding who we're with, what's going on around us. You know, it's kind of like I could give a talk that I wrote 3 days ago, or I could just be present with everything that's happened between the time I wrote this and being here this morning. And it feels better to me to just be here, to just be here with you. So I've got another example, and it is some of my favorite people in the world, musicians, who show up. Tom didn't bring his piano with him. He's playing somebody else's piano. He could be like, no, I need my piano or I can't play. But he's willing to play. He's willing to just get on that piano right here and make it work. And that's having a playfulness. That's being willing to let go. And so that brings me to another piece here, is when can we let go of things? Because if we're not willing to let go, there's no chance of play. You ever notice kids, the way they play? They just make up the rules as they go along, right? And then somebody else jumps in and makes up a new rule, and they're like, yeah, we'll do that too, right? It's just all fun. It's just, let's just keep going and play and just let go and recreate and let go and recreate and let go and recreate. But when we're hanging on to things, it's pretty hard to be playful. So I think of my motorcycle in this moment because everything on my motorcycle, I don't want play in it, right? I don't want the handlebars to feel kind of playful. When I hit the brakes, I don't want a bunch of playfulness in the brake. I want instant response to everything that's going there. I do not want it to be playful. So I want it to be tight and squeezing and holding on to itself. But in life, if we're like that, where's the fun? When we're so stuck in our own ideas and our own, maybe try this on, need to be right. Anybody? Anybody here at all? Just let me know. Anybody watching? Anybody suffer from, oh, I need to be right? And I am going to argue and beat you down till you see my way of thinking. So ask yourself, because I was asking myself this morning this question, is there any chance to play when I'm there? Can I come from a place of playfulness when I'm so stuck in my ideas that I can't let go? And even just allow an interaction to happen. And ask yourself, how many people in your life have given you the grace to be who you are? And when you think of that, what's that relationship like? Does it feel good? Does it feel good when you're with somebody that just allows you to be who you are? Doesn't need to fix you. You're not broken. You're not down the wrong path. You're just like, hey, you know what? Just the way you are, that's great with me. I'm okay with that. And then when you allow that back, isn't that like the basis of a really great relationship? That to me is the playfulness. That's what we can let go of. We can allow that to be the guiding light in our lives. To be that open and willing. You know, I guess you have to be willing to just make mistakes and be wrong. Right? There needs to be some bravery in that. Anybody here afraid of being wrong? Yeah, we don't want to look bad, right? I mean, really, we just want to look good for everybody, don't we? That's why I was like so worried about my hair. I'm like, how could they possibly accept me with hair like this morning? I can't believe I didn't fix it. I can hear my wife going, "You wore that?" With love in her heart. She is the great wisdom in my life, the great corrector of things. And then I want to be right, so it's like, yeah, I'm okay with it. It's fine. It'll be great. And then I'll go away and think about it and probably come back having either fixed my hair or changed my clothes or put on a different shirt or something. Because deep down, I know she's correct, right? I found this from Brené Brown this morning. We are imperfect. We are wired for struggle, but we are worthy of love and belonging. And so when we have that sense of belonging, doesn't that give us the permission to play as well? Right? When we feel like we belong, we can play along. You know, I can give you another example. Just me coming here today, and I decided yesterday to set up the drums. I didn't ask if it was okay if I sat in with the musicians that were going to be here. I just assumed it would be okay. And they were gracious and like, yeah, come on, yeah, let's play. But they could have been like, no, there's a gate, and you can't come in. Your hair is terrible. Not a chance. You don't look nearly cool enough to play in our band. But it wasn't like that. It was welcoming and loving and warm. And then that allowed me to be, oh, this is going to be okay, right? We've never played these songs together. As a matter of fact, the four of us have never played together before in this little group. So everything we're doing this morning is the first time as a group. Yeah, but that's, and I'm not sharing that for applause. I'm sharing that for the fact that that's what's possible. That's what kids do, right? Kids allow that to be on the playground. I was in Kelowna a few weeks ago, and I stopped at a playground. It was a Monday or Tuesday, I forget what it was, and the kids were all out for recess or lunch or whatever it was, and you could not make out a single word that was being said. It was just this roar of just kids running around doing whatever, playing multiple different games all over the playground. And that kind of brings me to, I know I have to be cautious of time. I'm getting close. So that brings me to, you know, I have a couple of mentors in my life. Well, I have a depending on which hat I'm putting on, I have mentors in, because I wear a few different hats. But in the world of ministry, I have, somebody who taught me a lot, which was Reverend Patricia. She's spoken here a few times from Nanaimo, and she allowed me the keys to the castle. The moment I said I wanted to be a minister, she just opened up the door and said, well, you should speak every second week then and get some training. And so she has allowed me the grace to really find my feet in this world of ministry. And the other one is Jesus. Like, for me, Jesus is one of the coolest dudes, because he's like fighting the man. And I was a rock musician, and what do we do in rock and roll? We fight the man. We don't know who it is, but we're just like out there fighting it, right? That doesn't sound right. We're going to write a song about that. So I kind of like him for that. But here's what he said. And I think, as of this morning, I will say that these are the two most important pieces that if you only knew this, you could not ever read the Bible and not ever worry about it. Okay, so take that for what it's worth. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Now, I sort of look at Lord God as life itself, as the very existence that we have, and I love life. So I'm going to just love it with all of my heart and all of my soul and all of my mind, because it's awesome. It's great. Second, this is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. So that's one. Number two, truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Because when we're stuck and hanging on and unwilling, needing to be right, we're not open. There is no play. There's no kingdom of heaven in that. There's just being stuck exactly where you are, probably not enjoying, probably not experiencing all you could experience. So my invitation, as we bring Reverend Vicky up to bring this home with prayerfulness, is to allow yourself to let go. Just let go of all of it. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be fine. You know, either a meteor is going to come and blow us all out of here or whatever's going to happen. I don't know. But my worrying about it isn't going to change it. So I might as well just enjoy the motorcycle ride with the wind on my face and the rain coming in my helmet and hang on and hope to heck it all works out. Namaste.